Welcome to the good, the bad, and the sequel with your hosts, Doug and Jamie.
Welcome back. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed Monday's interview with Diane Franklin. Oh my God. Talk about just an absolute doll of a human being. We talked about Better Off Dead, Bill and Ted, and of course, this week's sequel, Amityville II, The Possession. But before we get possessed by this movie, which this movie is the most crazy movie I've ever seen in my life.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I have to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing, man?
I just got finished watching this movie about an hour ago. And all I have to say is these people have, I think possession is the least of their problems.
That is true.
Okay, so that's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to tell you, we'll get into it when we introduce your this week's guest. You know, if you're watching this, you can see him right now. But if you're listening, I'll tease it a little bit more. But it's insane. This movie was the first time. Not the first time. There's a lot of movies you watch and you like get things wrong, but you try to guess while you're watching it. I wasn't even close to what happened because there's something we'll get to in the movie. I was like, oh, this movie's going to be over in 5 minutes, I guess. I'm so happy we have a guest because this movie needs dissection. Yeah.
And we definitely need a horror expert.
Yes. So it is the man that we've had tackle, I guess mostly, some not good, but he's tackled Leatherface. He's buzzed with Fly 2, the better Fly. Stoltz better than Goldblum. I just said it.
Oh my
God.
That's a big statement.
I know. And then he was so great for Return to Sleepaway Camp, which was pretty much Sleepaway Camp. Chris Egan. Chris, what's up, man?
Hey guys, it's really good to be back. This movie, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about it.
By the way, our first for Peter.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad. This is awesome. I watched this like 2 weeks ago, so I've been stewing in it.
Oh my God.
Then I feel bad for you because this is my first into the franchise. I've never seen any of them. I had no idea. I mean, I thought I knew what the movie was about, or at least the theme. But man, I can't oof.
This is one of the weirder ones.
I thought so too. Like before I interviewed Diane, I'm like, oh, I've seen Better Off Dead. Let me rewatch that. And I didn't do this because I liked the first time in a while, but I never saw this. I thought I've seen this movie. I watched the trailer before I talked to her, and I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. No, I've never seen this before.
So this is a prequel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh wait, this is before the other one?
Yeah. So yeah,
Where do they say that?
Yeah, it is.
Do they tell us as the audience?
I don't think so, but unless was the last name was it? I read about it, so that's the only reason why I know. You know, so then this one, if it's a prequel, then this one is really based loosely on a true story.
Yes,
the Montellis. Yeah. So in the beginning of this movie, so in Amityville, the original, they get the house from the Montellis, and they talk about this family.
I don't know if they mentioned the name in that movie because I don't even know if they had come up with the character names for this because it's loosely based on true story, but they changed all the names.
Well, all right. So you said there's multiple movies of this, correct?
Oh, there's like 12 movies
about the same house.
Yeah. Well, about the same house and then like objects that came from the house that haunted other houses. And
well, it's very difficult to sell a house once, like if there is like some kind of negative, a murder or like a ghost. The fact that they're selling this house multiple times to people and they keep buying it amazes me.
Well, let's not talk about the amazing part is whoever the real estate agent is. Honestly, the way they stage this house. But people that have a possessed house, if you're listening to this, watching this, you have a possessed house, guess what? Don't try to sell it or don't have a garage sale because if the possessions are going from house to house, grandma's bringing home a tchotchke, it might have a spirit in it.
It's true.
I want to. So the one thing I want to say is I think there's an unknown character in this movie, or I would say actor, that I think did the best job the whole movie. and I'm going to say the camera. The camera itself is an actor.
Oh, it's great. It's another throughout the whole movie. There's some really cool shots in this movie.
But the way they film it, how they're looking at the camera the whole time, and I really felt like the camera is an actual character in the movie. So
it was peeping. It was kind of we'll get into it.
It was peeping, and I think, and I could be wrong, but it might have had sex with the son. So
I'm glad you guys paid attention to like that, that technical side of it, because I did not. I was just focusing on like the bonkers storyline. So I'm glad you guys picked up on.
Listen, the camera goes away and the kid's shirt was open. When she first. So and then so we'll get to that part. But yeah, I think the camera had sex with the son. That's all I'm gonna say.
The cameraman. All right, so let's we have to dive right in. Before we dive right in, if you're watching us for the first time or listening to us for the first time, thank you. If you're not, thank you too. But make sure you go on Twitter at Sequels Only and wherever you're listening right now, hit the subscribe button and tell your friends. Now we're going to go right into it. And again, this movie gets right into it. That's why when Jamie texts me like, oh, did this movie have a lady with a box or something? I'm like, no, this movie goes title screen right away. We see the house and then we see Amityville II, The Possession. Like nothing.
See, I think this is what I'm not a horror fan. And I think,
I think you're becoming one. We've covered like 20 horror movies.
Yeah, but I think by force, not by choice.
Okay.
So I want to put it out there. But I think this, like the beginning of this movie is part of why I don't think I like horror movies anymore, because, it starts off with that creepy music, the creepy like camera angles of like the house, and like it gets you already scared before you get into like meeting anybody. Like, the music is everything, in this movie. And I think like movies today don't have that. Like there's no buildup, like it's like a slower buildup, I should say, where here it goes right away. Like you're already starting off creepy right from the beginning. So I love the fact there was music and just, filming the house. I thought that was a good start.
Yeah.
And the people that did this movie was De Laurentiis. And I don't know if I should ask her. Her husband's last name is De Laurentiis. I don't think he's related to them. Maybe he's from Jersey. But that guy, Dino, is the guy that sought Eric Roberts out for his first big movie role that like set him off into like.
You mean the friend of the podcast, Eric Roberts?
Friend of the podcast, Eric Roberts.
Okay.
But no, how about the director's name? I don't know if you noticed this, but it can't be a real name. It's Diamano Diamani. So the only difference is the last letter.
Yeah, Damiano Damiani.
Did you realize you just insulted the director if that's his real name?
No, I'm not saying it. No, I don't think if it's his real name, it's shame on his parents.
Okay, but you just said this can't be a real name. Now, this poor guy went to school with that same name, and now he's like, I finally got over people making fun of me, and now you got Doug from Sequels Only is totally making fun of me.
That's like if his name was like, I don't know, like Mommy Tommy.
Joseph?
Yeah, but it's like, come on. But anyway, so this whole movie, like, you got to think this was what? Just before Rocky 3, right? Rocky 2 already happened. Rocky 3 comes out 84, right? 83, maybe.
Are you saying that Paulie was the same character with the same character in this movie that he was in Rocky?
Dude, the first time we see him,
Rocky 3 was 82. Rocky 3 was 82.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And this movie was 82.
Year.
Yeah. Okay. It's the same exact character. Not only that, he always looks like he just woke up out of bed, doesn't comb his hair, and he always looks the same, like it's same character.
So do you think he was filming this on like? Well, this is not true because this movie was filmed. The exteriors were in Tom's River, interiors were out in Mexico. They filmed them. But wouldn't it be funny if it was like, I would believe it if somebody said, Doug, he went from set to set every day. He's the same guy. Dude, the first time we see him, they buy the house. He's really excited. He's on a leather coat. He rips the for sale sign out of the ground like he's like the Incredible Hulk.
And then just throws it on the ground.
This is mine now.
And he's out of shape. Like,
Whoa. When was he ever in shape?
I mean, the fact that he's laboring from like 3 seconds of exercise. Burt Young, I love you.
He plays the same role in Back to School also. It's the same role.
Yeah. I think he's a better guy in Back to School. We'll get to how
Well, he's a tough guy in Back to School. Well, he's a tough guy in all his movies.
No, I know. In this movie, he's like,
no, he's a degenerate. Without
he's like crazy. And I was not expecting this at all.
Again, I think, after watching this, I mean, I feel like it's two different movies. I think there's like a first half and a second half, of the movie. And I think, like I said, I think the possession is the least of the problems, including the mother. I mean, they all clearly have issues. Even from the two little kids, they have issues. So, I mean, this is a dysfunctional family at its best.
But do you think it was the house that really brought those things? I mean, obviously some stuff, yes, but do you think? I think it affected all of them as soon as they got there, but the dad was already a piece of shit.
Well, that's what I mean. So yeah, right. So I think it enhanced like the anger that was in there, but he was already a piece of crap because the fact that she was already, he felt threatened that she was going to leave him, later on. So like that wasn't the first time. So I think they all have their issues. I mean, listen, even before the possession, the brother and sister, I thought was odd. Like I didn't see that coming later on, obviously, but in the beginning, I'm like, I wasn't sure if they were boyfriend, girlfriend, he was living with them, if they were, like, it was weird. Like they didn't describe who they were at first. So I was confused at that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that was really confusing. And just to go, like Chris just said about like the house and did it change him? There is a line that she says, again, none of those other problems would come up like as soon as they move into the house, but she's like, why are we acting like this? And it seems like it's super normal. And again, like this movie front to back, how many days do you think it is? It seems like, dude, it's one church. They go to church one time, really, just like Sunday mass. They go, then they go back that night, but it's not even a week. This whole
I know. I had a question too. I was wondering how fast everything was going on because I felt like in the beginning it was only like 2 days or 1 day, like it was quick.
Yeah,
I feel like it was supposed. I think it was meant to be like a few months. Like I don't think it was supposed to be a huge stretch of time. Like they weren't there for years. But I feel like it was like a couple months because they were having like when they moved in, it seemed like it was one season, and then they were having like the backyard party, and I feel like some time had passed. They just did a very, very bad job of showing it, like, you know. So I think it was supposed to be more than like a week, but it wasn't supposed to be like a huge stretch of time either.
And then Diane, like right away, she calls her dad a creep, and then the son shows up late. Sonny. Another original name. All you Sonnies out. Come on. Get on it, parents. But no, I love when he's like, he's like a person doing a one-man show, and he's explaining to Burt Young, I came next to a guy at the light. I put the pedal to the metal. And I'm like,
and he was so excited to tell his dad. He was so excited to tell him, and his dad just like totally blew him off.
I thought he was going to punch him. And then this is what's weird too. Like, so if this is a prequel, obviously there's something going on and we find out later, but wouldn't they have checked? So how did they buy this house? Did they see beforehand? Because she was thoroughly shocked, the mother, that the windows were nailed shut.
Well, don't they have an inspection when you buy a house too?
Yes. So inspect. Yeah. Wouldn't you be like, hey lady, these windows are, well, we do see who's the guy. Is he an inspector? The guy that's crawling around?
No, that's a mover. He's moving the furniture in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which we'll get to that part too, because I don't think any movers would actually go in there and check out a secret room.
Oh, so hell no.
But yeah, there was clearly no inspector there, because I mean, inspection is supposed to open up every window, make sure everything works fine. Make sure that blood's not coming out of the faucet. Inspector checks all that stuff.
I feel like with how shady the dad is, like this was some like weird like backroom deal. He got the house for a steal from somebody, and he's like, I'm sure the father was the only one who saw the house prior to
they all seem surprised when they moved in. They all seem like, oh, look at this. So it's very possible because they all seemed very surprised.
And they were happy. So where were they living before?
I feel like they were supposed to be like city. Like they were probably living in like
city folk,
an apartment. It was probably too small for all of them. And now they're like moving into this nice, nice big house on this good stretch of land. And I don't know.
I love that the mom,
we're putting more thought into this than the writers did.
Yeah, I know. So the mom, like right after that, she's like, whatever. There's nails on the windows. Then she goes in the kitchen. She gets like, sort of like, I don't want to use the word horny, but when she saw like the wallpaper and the appliances and the cabinets, she was like so excited. Then she sees blood what she thinks is blood, she's really like spooked for a second and then not phased, which happens again later.
I find her be, I think, the biggest culprit of what's going on right now, because she's had a lot of signs come in front of her that she ignores clearly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, you go to a house and the first thing you do is turn on the water and blood comes out. That's a sign right there that maybe we should just get out of the house right now and, send an inspector there or something. But no, she ignored it. Like, she didn't even tell anybody. Like, how do you keep that a secret?
Well, I mean, there's no way she thought it was blood. She probably thought it was like, a high clay content in the soil.
That was pretty red. I mean, so, again, I blame her then, because then she's being naive, because that clearly was blood.
She sees a lot of stuff in this movie.
A lot. And ignores it.
Lets it go.
And she doesn't have a good relationship with her husband. So maybe she's like, oh, if I tell him, he'll just hit me.
Yeah.
Maybe like she doesn't even want to tell him that. Like, he got a good deal. He worked really hard for her kids. Because there's
she's holding sex from him. So,
Oh my God. And we had to hear that. The argument. That was.
Well, we also had to hear it from Diane Franken, which was kind of weird.
That was weird too.
That was extremely bizarre.
And then this is what Jamie talked about before, was it was weird the first time you saw the brother. So when I interviewed her, she talked about, because this movie like touches on so many subjects, like, family abuse and like spousal abuse and like incest. And I'm like, are they possessed already? Because they already look like they're going to do something.
That's why I question if they were like I know we met him in the beginning, but he looked a little different. I thought maybe it could have been a stepbrother. I don't know, something like, it was just weird. Like their chemistry was, something was going on. But again, I didn't put two and two together. I'm like, all right, they're not gonna go down that road, but they sure do.
They do.
This movie tackles a lot, and it's
disturbing.
It's it covers so much, but it's not smart enough to handle the subject that it's bringing up.
Well, you know what is, they touch on a lot of like just rough subjects, taboo and rough, between domestic abuse and incest. So it's like, and they throw it right in your face. Like, you don't expect it right away. And it's like, man, it's disturbing. Like the whole half of the movie is disturbing.
It comes at you very matter of factly.
Correct.
It's not like masked. It's not right. It's not like a horror metaphor. It's just, that's happening. This is what's happening.
It's like, I want to write a movie that involves incest, spousal abuse, possession. Just put it all in one movie. Let's just ram it down their throats. Is that that's how it feels?
3 full movies in one.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we talked about the mover before. So the mover, like, why would a mover ever like go into some creepy, like wet? It's like wet, dripping.
Dark, wet, and he lingers in there. Like, he's getting like, I think, crap falling on him, and he's just like staring and looking around. Like, I'd be out of there in 2 seconds. Like, there's no way. Like,
maybe it's drawing him in with its supernatural power.
And if you're a homeowner, why would you have someone else check out a room? Wouldn't you want to know what's in there? Like, we found another room. Yeah, it's my house. Let me look in there. Like, why send someone else there?
I was hoping, obviously, like, it's not like he woke up or whatever is in the house, but as soon as he went in there, because the door was like, when the wind was like, which I don't know how is, maybe there was a window open. I have no idea, but how is, well, again, it's crazy, this house. But the fact that afterwards we get the POV, and then from there on out, we don't even see, it's just the camera. Yeah,
you see the character of the camera comes around. Yeah. Now, was that a lot of like crap in there? Is that what, like, it was like sewage? Is that because he said it smelled?
It sort of, I don't know. Look, at one point the walls just looked like they were all muddy and like, like,
wouldn't that smell the whole house up though? Because it didn't seem like that door really closed that well. It was like, it was like a garage door kind of thing. Like, it just a flimsy kind of door. I figured like the whole basement would reek.
It would be like mildew and evil.
Yeah.
And then this is when the mom with the POV, she like feels something touch her, and she's like in this again. She saw blood, she gets touched, but this like kind of affected her for a second, because to Sonny, she kept repeating like, "Somebody touched me, somebody touched me," and then
but not scared enough to leave the house.
Oh, I know.
Like that's so far 2 things that are very normal.
So many people are so cool in horror movies. I would love. I know there's horror movies that have practical people that really get scared, but it's always like the coolest calmest people that buy houses that are possessed. The real estate agent seeks them out. He finds them, the people that won't buckle under pressure. So then they're there for, X amount of days, and then they get that commish, baby. No buybacks.
Unbelievable.
And how much shit breaks in this house that they don't panic. So how about when they're eating? So they're eating dinner. And I thought that shot was really cool of the mirror.
Is the praying part you're talking about?
Huh?
The praying part? The dinner?
When the mirror shot?
Yeah. So you before they started, it was like a nice meal, they praying, and then the mirror fell, and then all hell broke loose. They were fighting and then she goes, let's go back to praying. And it was like all soft spoken and praying again. Like nothing just happened in between.
And Paulie looks at it and he blames his son.
Their relationship was rocky from the beginning.
Oh.
But it was like he seemed to really hate his son,
And then the next part, the son is staring at the broken mirror and it cracks, but he's not possessed yet. So
it's got its hooks in him already.
I think
he's like coming in and out of the consciousness.
That's what I thought. He was just like, it was like just making him aware that something's coming or something like that. Like, yeah, he wasn't possessed yet, but like, listen, we're one and the same kind of thing.
The demon's like, I'm going to make you feel special, kid. Sonny. And the way he communicates, we'll get to that, but that's pretty awesome. Oh, it's actually pretty quick. But
you know what? Like I said, again, now for old movie, they focus on like the camera and like the sounds, like the tick-tock you hear, the music, like that's what makes movie. Like you don't need the gore, you just like this. It's all the I guess the visuals is what makes it. I think that was pretty well done.
Yeah, that's definitely a running theme with the whole series. It's really more about the weird noises. Some of them get a little flashy with their visuals, but none of them are like super gory, or it's like something weird happens that's like kind of like the face peeling in Poltergeist, where it's in someone's head, so it doesn't actually happen. They do stuff like that,
right? Okay,
but it's never super gory. It's always like,
well, it doesn't have to be. It's like they put the creep factor in there again with the sounds, and I think that's great.
Yeah, great practical effect. I love the practical effects in this movie, and I was so stoked at we'll get to it when we get to the end, but I was like, holy shit, dude. These are like, why movies need to do this always? Like now, it just looks so good.
But I did laugh a few times, like when you see the sheet just fly out of the middle of the air and just fly around. Like I was laughing, like so ridiculous. Like, some guy's on a line of wire and just like pulling it. And it's like, you see it, like it's so cheesily done, but it was effective. It worked.
The whole house is that. Those scenes must have been like watching like the Muppets work, like Jim Henson, because they're like the one time the window kept going. And you got to think, how many takes did they do? So that guy must have what's that? Triceps, maybe biceps. He was like
forearms.
Wait, did you just point to your forearm for his tricep and bicep?
Triceps are here.
No.
Oh, no, triceps
are here.
Oh, okay.
What? Clearly, Doug never went to the gym before.
I don't go to the gym, man.
Boom, right there.
And that's why you're here.
That's why I'm right here. Right here.
No, but Doug, they got like Kevin McAllister in there, like pulling all the
they do. Yes, they do. So then we get the sun. We find out like this movie, like at night, they show the sun. And not saying I didn't think it was going to be about him. For some reason, I thought it was going to be mostly Diane. I thought she was going to get possessed. Just from our conversation in the interview, I was like, maybe it's her that gets possessed. But
yeah, but I'm glad it's not, because then we would have seen the sun naked. So if it was reversed, so I'm glad it was the son that got possessed.
What I think they try to push it in that direction to make you think you're getting like another Exorcist. You're like, oh, we've seen one teenage girl get possessed or haunted or whatever. So I think they want to throw you off. You don't really know who's going to be the most affected when this starts.
See, I think if Paulie got possessed, that would have been great.
Oh my God.
Although he might have already been possessed because he was acting like a real ass the whole movie.
But then we find out right away.
His name's Anthony in this. You keep calling him Paulie.
Anthony Montelli.
Hey, Montelli.
But no, so then we find out like right away, like, okay, it's definitely the Sonny that's possessed, because his 1982 Walkman blue headphones starts talking to him. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
The voice was great. Yeah.
Well, first, wasn't the ghost spying on him through the mirror first, right?
Yeah.
Because he was shaving, and then he walked into, I guess, get dressed, and then you see the mirror come out, and the ghost was, or the camera was watching him.
Yeah. No, but I love the voice, the way it evolved. Maybe the more power that it got over him, because there's a part later, he doesn't have the headphones on, and you hear the voice. I'm like, wow, dude. And the shit he was saying.
Yeah.
Whew. And then here's when all hell breaks loose. So when the door knock. So they knock at the door. And first he just goes out. He's like, hey, it's late at night. It better be worth it, right? Or it must be something important. No one's there. And then his next inkling, 2 knocks.
They're grabbing a rifle.
Yeah. What is happening?
He's possessed.
But was he this angry in New York if somebody was like, hey, I'm sorry, I was looking for 23 Main Street, and the pizza delivery guy gets shot over.
It was the 80s. It was the 80s in New York. So he was probably getting mugged like every other week on the way home from work.
Yeah, but I can't imagine having. I can't imagine having 6 rifles in New York City in the 80s.
Yeah, so that's true. probably a 6-shooter.
I bet you Bronson had 6 rifles, and Paul Kersey.
Did he really need it? I mean, he had Wilty.
Yeah,
he didn't need anything else.
That is true. But no, this scene, dude, oh my God, dude, when we get the little kids in the bedroom and just the paint, that look, I thought, I don't know what it was.
But even their relationship seemed weird also.
Yeah.
Like there's a big age group and they were not separated. Like I was almost like they had a relationship, which they might have.
They had to cut that. MPAA was like, okay, we can have the older incest, young incest. Not gonna.
It was super weird. I felt like the way they talked to each other, it wasn't like the weird incestuous vibe that you got from the older ones, but it was like they talked to each other. They talked to each other like they were like an old married couple. Like
you're right.
Like there was no sex anymore. It was just like they just talked to
like
each other
their parents.
Oh, this is like it was again. They talked like they were 80 years, like 70-year-old people. Like
you know what? You're right. You're absolutely. That was good.
That is, they were their parents. They were like emulating what they see every night in their own home.
But even the kids didn't seem that scared seeing a paintbrush fly in the air. Like they didn't run out of there. They sat there and watched, and then they calmly told their father as he's beating them,
Oh, that scene.
Oh, rough.
Like he's, yeah.
Because you still see them in the shot, so I'm sure it wasn't them. Maybe it was like, I don't know. Hopefully it wasn't them, because when he takes it off and on the wall, it says,
right?
Yeah, he takes his belt slow, and he does it slowly, so you know what's coming. Like the way he does it, it's like, oh, yeah, he's. Yeah.
And the mom was like, no.
Hey, that's growing up Italian, man. You get the belt
she scratched him in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she stepped up to him and scratched him, and then he went wild on her.
Oh my God, dude. That I wrote intense, all caps. I was like, wow, dude. That was like, and then you think, oh, this is crazy. How can it get even crazier? Oh, the son grabs the rifle, puts it to his face, and then I chose that as one of my images, and that was just crazy.
I thought he was gonna kill him. I thought, dude. I
really thought. I'm like, wait, is this whole movie gonna be like? I didn't know where they could have gone from there,
right?
But I was like, dude, he's gonna shoot him because because you don't see Paulie, you don't see Anthony like being I thought he was gonna be like talking shit right there with a gun to his face. He'd be that guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Trigger because I'll kick your ass, kid.
Yep.
How about what the ghost wrote on the wall? Dishonor thy father. Pigs.
Yeah.
Like, what is there meaning to that? Like,
well, you know what? Actually, no.
Listen, this is why you're here. You're the horror expert.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? This just came up somewhere, something horror related. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I grew up Catholic, and there's a lot of references to like, there's a lot of references to like demons and pigs and like
in the Bible.
In the Bible, yes.
Correct. Well, in the Bible, I am religious. So in the Bible, when they did possession, I should have thought of this. So when they do possessions, there was a story in the Bible where they actually took a demon out. They wanted to go into a herd of pigs that were running into water.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
With this, it was. We're gonna possess the family. They're the pigs.
I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Pigs to the slaughter, all that.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
You're not getting that anywhere else, folks. Chris Egan, like deep cut. So then the kid puts the headphones back on, and you hear that voice, like again, a little bit stronger. Says, "Why didn't you pull the trigger? I could have killed your father." And I'm like, wow. Like, I guess could he choose anyone to talk to, or was there something that he did already to him? Because he didn't.
Well, he had the worst person. Like, he was quiet to begin with. He was kind of reserved, so he probably figured he's the weakest one. Maybe
he looked familiar. He reminded me of like when they do movies, they always try to get somebody that looks like somebody famous. I was trying to think of who was in at that time that had that look, because he looked like.
I thought he looked like Danny from Caddyshack. A little minus the orange hair, like you said, like a look like his face. But yeah, I don't know. But listen, how about the fact that after the whole scene of the beatings, they're acting like nothing. The next scene, she's hugging him. Yeah. He's at the mirror, like nothing just happened. Like literally, you just beat these two little kids. There was writing, devil worshiping, whether the kids did it or not, you don't know. But on there, you have a gun to your head, and like, all right, nothing. Like I said, like there's a lot more going on with this family than the possession alone. Like, because I don't even think the possession even happened yet.
Oh,
right? So it's like they have issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's creeping in, but it's not. He hasn't fully taken over yet.
Right.
So then they go to church, and the priest. I looked him up because I'm like, I know this guy. His name is James Olsen, big time character actor. He's been like everything. He was just in.
So you're okay with his name? Like that's a real name? That you're okay with that name?
James Olsen?
Yeah,
beautiful name.
Like Jimmy Olsen from Superman.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if his name was Alson Olsen, then I'd be like. So,
well, we just lost any Alson Olsens that we have out there. They're no longer listening.
Damn it. But no, so he was just in Lords of Salem a few years back. He was in the original. He was one of the deputies in The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And he was in like old Westerns like Rooster Cogburn. Like this guy's awesome. And again, when I first saw him, I'm like, I know that guy. He's a big time character actor. What's his role going to be in this movie? And I'm still to right now. The way this movie goes, I was not expecting it at all.
Oh no, I also thought another turn. I mean, I didn't understand where he was going in the middle of the movie or like near the end, like when he went with the other guy. Because I didn't know the other guy was a priest.
Oh, I thought it was his boyfriend.
So did I.
Right? I know. Obviously, priests live in like a priest.
I know. I said the same thing, and I because they don't explain it. Like they didn't explain it. He was going somewhere. Did you know where he was going?
They were going. No, he was wearing like the other guy that I didn't know he's a priest either. He was wearing like kind of like just like a winter coat,
right.
Like some of you are go like hiking,
right.
And he goes,
right,
come on, let's go camping. Let's get out of here. And I'm like, just the way he said it, I'm like,
just them two?
They're dating.
Well, Brokeback. Didn't they go camping? Okay.
That inspired this.
Maybe.
Or no.
No, this inspired that.
Yeah. Matt Damon was like,
Matt Damon.
Too.
Matt Damon.
Oh, wasn't it? Who was in that movie?
Heath Ledger.
See, I never saw it. Huh?
Oh, you got me.
Oh, you guys just admit it. See, Brokeback Mountain. So then the mom at church goes to the priest like, oh, this is my family. These are my kids. And would you mind? So again, do priests really have this important of a job in town?
What? Of going to?
Will priests do anything? Well, a priest can go to the police station. A priest can go to a crime scene.
We'll go to the crime scene later on. So, okay. So I do go to church. And I actually did have my pastor, but I'm friends with him. But I did have him come to my house and bless my house. So I've never done that before, but he went to each room and blessed it. So I guess they can. I'm not sure if they would do it right away for someone they just met. Like that clearly was their first time at church, at church. So I don't know if he would do it like that, but that does happen. People do have them come to the house. Yeah. But as far as the police station and crime scenes and all that, no, I don't think so, but we'll get to that part.
Flips open his badge. Not just a priest.
Yeah, just a priest. I'm a bad boy. But no, that whole part, he's like, all right, fine. And then he gets to the house, and dude, so this is what's crazy. So they get to the house. Paulie's a dick. Obviously, he's in front of the door. Okay, the priest is in front of him. He doesn't really talk to him. He like growls. And
Mr. Personality. He growls at him like almost like
mom, the mom goes, for her first line was, "Oh, hi, what was his name? Father Frank. Oh, have you met my husband? No, he's just standing there."
And then what a douche! Like he offers him a cigar, then he offers him a drink. Like he's just trying. Like he's just like doesn't care at all. Like
Yeah.
Oh, and this is the most fucked up part, dude. Again, did this house make these kids want to do this or not? So when he says, "Do you want a drink?" and the kids fight to go get the drink.
I don't know, but that like I know
plastic bag over the
and that looked realistic. That looked very realistic.
Oh, dude, that was real.
That was like I don't know, like that was rough to watch, man. That was yeah. I don't know. I you know what? I'm going back with what he said before, what Chris had said before about the old married couple. Like you remember, I think in Living Color did that too. Like they had these two couples that like hated each other. They were living together for like 30 years, and they were just trying to kill each other the whole time, like after being married. So these two kids are like that old married couple that every time they get a chance, they're gonna try to do something.
Oh my god! And then the fact that from that, the Sonny comes down. So Sonny's not possessed yet, right?
Not yet. No, the camera didn't have sex with him yet.
Okay, the camera didn't have sex with him yet. Take liberties. Yeah. No, so when he shakes his hand and then in the kitchen, the fridge explodes, dishes everywhere. And the first thing, great dad Anthony does, he thinks it's the kids.
Again.
How would two kids do that?
There's the second. Well, he thought they quickly made a great mural on their wall, at their age, So, I mean, clearly he can't stand his kids.
Yeah.
He doesn't like any of his kids. I was questioning if he was really their dad because like he's come across like a stepdad, like one that comes in the family, you got this mom who, it just seemed like he really hates his kids.
Well, that's a big part of the first one. The first one is it's the mom and the kids, and it is the stepdad.
Oh.
And the house gets into him. So there's already that disconnect where when he moves in, but when they move in, he does care about the kids. Like they have a loving relationship, but it's the house that turns them. But this is like they just took like this deadbeat dad and made him.
So maybe the dad brought the devil with him or the demon with him to the house.
Maybe
because this is the first house. This is the first movie, right? This is the first house, right?
Well, no. That's the thing is when they move in, it's the house from the start. And remember, this takes place before the first movie,
right? So
I think it's always the house.
Oh, so you think it's always the house? Yeah. Well, there's got to be a start somewhere. Out of the 10 movies, they didn't explain how the house gets possessed.
I don't know.
I mean, but I would think like, after like they're running out of ideas, when you think like, what, let's make a movie about Amityville of how this house becomes possessed.
Oh, they're probably writing it right now. See, you just added like 3 more movies to this franchise, and they just made a new one that's coming out like right now. I don't know if it's really to it. It's called Amityville.
Oh, a series. No, it's a series, I think.
No, there's a movie. There's a movie that just came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then 2 years ago, Diane played a mom in one called Amityville Murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she played the mom. The Amityville Murders is based on the true story because I think they used like the real names and stuff in that.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's like she was in a fictionalized version and then she was in like a more realistic version.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty cool. It's gotta be the only time ever somebody in like a franchise played a daughter and a mom, right? It's got to be something. So then Paulie, Anthony again, he thought his kids did this. He's beating the shit out of them. And the priest is like, no, don't hit the kids. And he's like, hey, what does he say? The line?
Don't tell me how to raise my kids or something like that. Or
with that, like, you can leave, get out. And then
he leaves.
And then he goes to the car, the door's open.
Yep.
And so it's in the house, right? it's a house that's possessed. The property's possessed too, or just the house? Because something
it's haunted. It's all
somehow
haunted.
tore up the Bible.
Yeah, but he was parked in a street. So is the street possessed because it's touching the sidewalk?
Ooh. It's a great question.
It's a bubble. It's an evil bubble.
Yeah. Evil bubble.
All right.
But no, just the fact.
I like the fact that the priest doesn't even notify anybody that there's clearly abuse going on in this house. And he goes, yeah, I'll talk to you in a couple of days. And he ignores it. Like, wouldn't you like report it or something? Or like just say, listen, we got to check on this. Like, no.
Yeah. Up until we get to the scene that we're going to get to, this was the most uncomfortable I was.
Oh, really?
Watching them up to that point. I found that I always find social situations like that very uncomfortable. Like,
oh, wow.
Like how the priest, it's awkward. You're watching this guy beat his kids. You're like, what do I do? He throws you out of the house. There's an explosion in the kitchen that people just regard as like a mess. Not like the kitchen just exploded. Yeah. So it was very uncomfortable. Socially awkward.
Half the scenes are uncomfortable to watch, to be honest with you. So
every time we get to a new scene, Doug goes, well, this is crazy. I'm like, yeah, the whole fucking movie is crazy.
It is crazy. Like there's a lot of movies that not that I can't watch them again. They don't have the same effect. Like the movie, The Game, like there's a ton of them like that. Then you're like, I know it's coming. This movie, I really don't think I could watch it again. Not saying that it's not watchable, but just the fact that, there's some very uncomfortable scenes in this, a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's rough. It's definitely rough.
So then the priest, the wife demands her husband to go apologize to the priest. So then everyone's gonna go except Sonny. So
he wasn't gonna go at first because he's like, and then that's when she threatens to leave him with the kids. She goes, why should I listen to you or something like that?
Oh yeah.
And then she goes, because this is if you don't go, I'm taking the kids with me.
Yes. And then
the
from
one bit of
there,
strength she shows in the whole movie.
Right.
Yes. And then from there, so Sonny's just laying in the bed, and then all of the shit's happening all over the house. I know I'm not saying you'd call the cops, but wouldn't you I don't know. I would leave.
Be concerned. Like,
yeah.
Like, is it abnormal?
Happened in my house, I would be losing my mind.
Oh, yeah. Not only that,
I've seen this movie.
How come there was no damage at all to the house? I mean, you had the furnace was on fire. You had furniture flying around the room, and everything was normal by the time everybody got home.
Everything just lands softly, gently.
Well, not even everything was normal. Diane's line was, what happened? The windows were left open. I'm like, dude, the friggin' mirrors fell off the wall in the dining room. Did they get put back up? So that's what I understand. Are these things, they're really happening? Or maybe they're just something like in Poltergeist. Are they just making the people think that it's happening? Like the blood that we've seen a few times?
I think it's really happening.
Oh, okay.
I think there's maybe a few things that are sort of like in someone's head, but I think that's usually like in the one-off or like it's a character that's by themselves. Like when stuff starts happening with Sonny, like do you like maybe it's in his head? Maybe if someone else was in the room, would they see what's happening, or would it just be?
But you know what though? But that's the same thing with the blood in the faucet. Like maybe maybe the blood really wasn't there, but he wanted like the demon made it think of that because then it came water. Like they don't really explain. I guess it's your own interpretation of what was going on, but I would like to think I would hope that it's happening because it makes it more fun.
But there is a point that two people see something like that, the priest and the mom,
right,
a little bit later. But no, I was just wondering because so all that stuff's happening. So Sonny grabs a hammer, and then he's walking around the house with a hammer, goes to the basement and grabs a gun, and like I don't know, like in that situation. Nothing really. If it's something that's real, like a person, it's not like somebody goes in to rob a house and they're like, boom, 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 opening windows, like hitting pots. Like something different is at work.
Well, doesn't he hear voices in the secret room too? Like, wasn't it? Okay, but they weren't like human voices. They sounded like gremlins. Like you hear like things like that, and like he's talking to them. Like, if you're in there, come out. Like they weren't normal voices. So like like.
And he sees an arm sticking out of a wall.
Yeah.
I
reaching
would
out.
shit my pants.
Of course.
No.
So what does he do?
Just-
He goes to his bedroom, right? He leaves and walks. No, he walks away slowly, leaving the door open. Okay, so even if you did see that and you're panicking, wouldn't you like barricade that door so like whatever's in there can't get out? Like nothing. He left the door open. If I see a mouse in a room, I'm barricading that room, let alone a hand coming out of the wall.
No, but it's funny. Maybe this was the point that he like lets out whatever it is because he went into that room. Maybe because obviously he was kind of possessing him already. But then from the next scene is where he turns into the Incredible Hulk.
Well, I actually called it Teen Wolf because he looked like Michael J. Fox when his face was like kind of morphing a little bit.
Yeah,
he looked just like that.
This is a very sweaty movie.
Well, I was going to say that too. So I guess when you become, possessed by a demon, your teeth turn yellow and you sweat a lot.
I mean,
Yes.
everyone's sweating in this movie at some point.
And we skipped over it, but when he's in the basement and he's like backpedaling when the POV is getting ready to take liberties with him, all the pipes are bursting in this house. Like it's insane. Everything's just going nuts. The gun starts firing.
Floating and there was a gun that was floating.
Yeah.
And
then
firing.
all the guns in the basement are firing. The furnace, big flames, the wires start going out. So I wanted to ask, based on Poltergeist and Poltergeist 2, does homeowners cover this? Or again, does the demon put
I don't
this
know.
all
It's an
back
act of
before?
God, right? I don't know where that falls on your policy.
Well,
Like-
we found out in Poltergeist 2, it only covers houses that are still there. But no, when they get home, when they come home to glass everywhere on the first
We said
floor.
not one thing of damage. The fire was down there. Something. The basement would be on fire.
It'd be like a charred wall, something. I mean, let alone all the supernatural stuff. They would have 18 different contractors having to come into this house. It is an unlivable home.
Oh, and I want to know what it would take to get that kid to get out of the house. Say, you know what? Now it's freaky. Like everything he saw right now is normal. Like what do you think he would have to see for him to say, you know what? Maybe I should get out of the house. Because I mean, I don't know. There's much more he could see that is making him think there's something going on.
Well, you know what that reminds me of too? Not to get into a whole other storyline, but like in The Shining, whether the book or the movie, Jack sees a lot of stuff, but is so part of it is the hotel is turning him, which is similar to this. The house is turning people.
Yeah.
Part of it is he's such a non-believer. He's such a skeptic that he just convinces himself that he didn't see it or it was in his head. Or so it's like these two negative aspects are coming at him. And I'm wondering if they're trying to play on that a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Not to get into a whole other rabbit hole, but I think
that makes sense though, because
that's a lot of like what happens in the first movie too with the stepdad. It's a wallet goes missing, he blames the kids, but of course it's the house and that sort of thing. And he refuses to see until the very end. He refuses to see that something otherworldly is going on.
So once again, another movie where adults are jerks and the kids
And demons and bad guys are just like jokesters.
Yeah. Well, he did the ring and run before.
Yeah. He did.
Right. So it's
But then this is where it gets creepy. So Diane,
this is where it gets creepy.
no, this is where it gets like creepy.
Okay. Oh, creepy and a different
Next
creepy.
Creepy.
Next level.
Uncomfortable.
creepy. So she goes, "Oh, you missed out. Dad went there. He apologized to the priest, and then he surprised us with a steak dinner." And then
You did skip this one. You skipped the camera sex scene.
Oh, I'm sorry. You break it down.
No, I'm just saying, that to me, that's obviously when he becomes possessed. So how else is he gonna get possessed besides? I mean, like he falls into he keeps looking at the camera like it's following him. You don't see what's following him, and then he trips and falls on the bed. He could have fell anywhere, but he fell on the bed. They zoom in. He's wearing a shirt. The camera zooms out, zooms back in. Oh no, zooms in, then zooms out, and his shirt's unbuttoned.
Oof.
Then it zooms back in, back out, and you see his stomach is moving a little bit, like he's like this movement going on with his body. I'm just saying, I think the camera had sex with him.
Now, do I remember right? The camera, it's not just a zoom. It feels like the whole camera's moving, right? Is that the scene?
Yeah.
Or it's like
Yeah, right, correct, right. So they're showing the point of view from him laying on a bed and the camera on top of him.
It doesn't even feel like a zoom. It feels like the entire camera is moving back and forth.
See?
In that, right? Yeah.
So do you think if he would have tripped before the bed, the demon would have been like, come on, get to the bed first.
What, you don't think a demon can have sex on the floor?
Well, I think a demon's respectable and would like, I don't think so.
I think the dirtier the better. I think if the demon had a choice, he would go in a secret room in the basement.
This is my playroom.
There's chains on the wall, ball gags. And, Jesus. So then, okay. So back to Diane talking to her brother and Patricia. And dude, when she says, and how did it even come up? She just says, mommy doesn't want to bone daddy. Mommy doesn't want to make love to daddy anymore. Oh. That was super uncomfortable. That was like so weird. And she said it with such a straight face. I know. Yeah, but the weird thing was his reply, like to that, as a brother, your reply shouldn't be, "You're beautiful." Well, he had one thing on his mind at that point. I know that, but just wouldn't she? And then I know it's the house, I guess. No, because she see again that scene in the beginning, like they were like she was into him because didn't she say, "Oh, what do you like, girls with bigger breasts?" Yeah, she said that to him in the beginning of the movie. So she obviously had some kind of issue with him earlier, so I think that's why she was not taking her shirt off or whatever. Oh boy. And then he says, strike a pose for me on the bed. And she does it. Really, she fights it for a second. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't consider it fighting. I think she just paused for a second and realized it was a good idea. And then he says, let's play a game when you're the beautiful model and I'm the famous photographer. Take off your nightgown just for a second. And she's like, I hated every second of it. That was the longest second. I mean, she had a full conversation with him afterwards. Listen, she's 20 years old. I mean, in the movie, he's talking to her like she's like a young kid that he's trying to groom. Like she's 20. She didn't see what's going on. She's 20 in her age. She's 20 in real life. I think she's like 16 in the story. Yeah. Oh no, this is really illegal. Super. Okay. Well, it's I mean, immoral and illegal. I mean, that's
I do want to say this scene. Well,
it is 80, so they had to throw boobs somewhere. We did, yeah. I was surprised. So, yeah. Well, you know what? They teased it. So they only showed you from the neck up for a while. Then they showed her from the back, and then the next part they showed her from the front. Yes. Ugh. I didn't notice that scene.
I do want to say as uncomfortable as this scene is. And again, this also, I think, goes into the movie trying to play with themes that it doesn't really have the time or the intelligence to deal with. Her performance in that scene, I think, has a lot of levels to it. As uncomfortable and as weird as it is, and it into other scenes after they have sex. Spoiler alert. Yeah, where I feel like possession aside, her visiting the priest aside, her performance, she's really tackling this insane act of having sex with her brother. And it's almost like she loves, you have that sibling love, and she's trying to equate that to romantic love, and that's not how this works.
Well, and clearly it's no love with the parents. So I mean, so you got this poor girl who's looking for love,
Yeah, it's super confusing. Right. But I think she nails it. For this bizarro movie.
So does her brother.
She was looking for love in all the wrong places.
Get out.
So how about, again, this could have been from that day, or it could have been from a while ago, but he has her panties and hands it to her. Yeah. And she's like, what is this? He's like, your panties.
Yeah.
And then
he's digging through her dresser drawers.
Ugh. And then they start kissing, and then it happens. But then the next scene, then we cut to her at confession. And the way she delivers the line, I went all the way. with my friend. She like
My
paused,
friend.
like, what should I say?
See, I thought she was possessed here because it sounded like she was
Ooh.
laughing. Was she crying or laughing? When she was after, remember she put her head down and the priest says, he started talking a little bit more about it. And I thought she was giggling about it. So I thought she was possessed.
I don't think she's giggling. I
So
think
she was crying.
I think she's like crying a little bit. And I think she's in shock. Like she's now coming to terms with what happened and trying to get help. But she can't get help because she's not going to say what really happened.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah, but later on, though, she seemed disappointed that he chased her away.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's the whole. I think that ties back into the whole her being confused with her feelings.
So she knows she did something wrong, but she likes what she's doing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so she storms out because she won't fully confess, and the priest, Father Frank is like trying to push her, and she doesn't want to do it. So then we get back to the priest is back in the house to bless, and the headphones are talking to Sonny again. And basically, this was weird. So obviously, the priest, good versus evil, he tells him, "Oh, don't go near him again." So he like barricades himself in the room, and dude, the priest, Father Frank, just walks right into his room. He like feels something from it. And now is like the actor who played Sonny. I don't know what else he was in, but he's really good in this movie when he's not. Well, throughout the whole movie, I think his acting is really good, but how good he is being awkward with the fathers, great.
I'll tell you right now what he was in. He was in 2 movies.
What?
He was in this. Yeah, he was in this. And he played a young military guy in Stephen King's Firestarter movie.
Oh,
that's it.
Oh, really?
That's all he's been in. Doesn't even have a name in that movie.
Wow.
This movie was hard for him to get another role. It's like, so what other movies were you in? I was in this Amityville II. Amityville II? You're the one that fucked your sister?
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be good in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, we'll give you a call another time. We'll see.
We'll call you.
We'll call you. We'll hold on to your resume.
But yeah, that whole scene with Father Frank was like, you saw again the sweating. He was sweating a lot and just like really uncomfortable. And I don't know, there was just like either their dynamic back and forth was really, really good between those two.
No, I think the priest did a great job. This movie definitely had a lot of I think Exorcist, just the way it was filmed. I think it was pretty good. No, this is like I think slowly when it's starting to become a different movie now.
Oh yeah.
Slow. And then I think you're right. I think it's a total of 3 different movies.
Yeah, and Sonny, like after that interaction, it's like the demon maybe isn't strong enough yet because when he leaves, he's like almost passed out against the wall. And I love the wife is like, the mom wife, she's like, "Can you bless this room and this room?" And then she's like, "How about my bedroom?" And then this is where he goes in there, he tosses the holy water, and from that, dude, it's not a little bit of blood.
No. She goes, "Bless my bedroom," and he does, and she goes, "Bless my bed."
Oh yeah, what's weird? She doesn't use it.
But maybe she wants to start using it. So that's when he threw it in there, and that's when he, what do you call it? The sprinkler? Was that the sprinkler thing that he was? No, that's what he called it. That's what he called it at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He called it a sprinkler.
Yeah. But yeah, that was weird that she's like, "Bless my bed."
Yeah. Well, maybe she's blessing him. Like maybe she wants him to last longer.
That's what it's about. Anthony, come in here. Can he bless your penis?
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Why they can do that? It seems like they can do everything in this town. They can probably perform open heart surgeries. They're detectives. Yeah, dude, come on.
And penis blessing?
I feel like the sooner she gets him off of her, the better. I think maybe she wants affection, but it's like, all right, get off me. You're done. Go to bed.
Oh, maybe
you don't think it's a catch? I mean, he looks like he has a stained like guinea tee that he's wearing the whole movie. He just looks like a slob. I mean, like I said, he looks like he hasn't showered in weeks.
He's a meatball personified.
He really is.
If a meatball was a person.
He's the
That's
meatball
great,
that fell out of my sub onto the kitchen floor.
But he plays that meatball at everything he does. Like he looks dirty in Rocky at every Rocky, from Rocky 1 to Rocky 5, I guess. He looks filthy in every movie.
Oh, he looks filthy in Balboa, Rocky Balboa too.
I'm saying he looks the same. He's the same role in every movie.
So he's the opposite. So when they cast for him, they're like, "Hey, we're looking for if a meatball was a person. Hey, were you in what movie were you in?" And it's like every movie next to it says like meatball type, meatball type, meatball type. Really?
You don't need to show up early for makeup. Just roll out of bed and come right in. You know, you don't have to get your hair done. Just come right as you are.
I was gonna shower my way. No shower. No. And bring your robot from Rocky.
Showers
Rocky
the whole
4.
time of filming.
Oh my god, dude. And then so then blessed in the bed, we see the blood everywhere, and he like panics. He has like blood on his hands. He goes in there, like washes his hand. His spritzer has blood in it, and then it's all gone. And they just look at each other, and again, nothing. It's really nothing.
That was weird because he goes to wash. I mean, he was filled with blood. He was in there for like 2 seconds, and it was spotless when he came out. He walked out, his hands are spotless, but then everything was gone. So he did see the blood in his hand. Obviously, he clearly was washing it off.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like, wasn't he concerned? Like,
well, he was concerned enough. He wasn't concerned enough to maybe raise awareness for like Mrs. to Dolores and be like, "Hey, you guys should really get that fat out of here. This is kind of crazy." But he does go to like his priest boss, whatever.
He does. Who I think is another creep.
What is wrong with his? I don't understand it. You have to get like
he's in the wrong line of work. That guy.
Yeah, but you have to get like a permission to do what is.
Well, I guess I'm assuming if it's not done properly, you know, it's like it becomes like a full, like you're not really doing exorcism. Because I mean, I guess people really get it done. They take, you know, the Catholic Church. I'm not Catholic, so they take it in the Catholic Church, I guess, a little serious that you have to do it properly, otherwise you can't do it at all. I mean, I don't know.
Oh yeah, and I feel like what they usually say in movies, including The Exorcist, is the church doesn't really do stuff like that anymore. It's, you know, they consider it like archaic. So for them to actually send someone out, like they need like levels and levels of proof.
Yeah,
that something's going
how do you train for that if there aren't any demons around?
Instructional videos from like the 80s. How to exorcism in 7 easy steps.
They got special they get special training at like the Vatican, like in the, you know, the underground labs.
VR training, VR goggles. But no, and then this was so he tells the priest above him, and then that guy thinks he's kind of kooky for admitting it. So it's like one of these things. Maybe people don't talk about it because if the other people don't believe you, they think that you're crazy. So it's like, hey, why bother talking about it? But he's so freaked out at this point. Diane comes and asks for help, and he pretty much blows her off. He's like, "Oh, I'm busy, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday, like making up." I don't understand that. He's supposed to be there to help them.
I wondered, but he's an older guy, so I wonder how long he's been a priest. Like, you know, like he looks like he's been a priest for a long time. So first of all, he should have already been trained about demon possession.
He should have.
You know, so I mean, it almost seems like the other guy's treating him like he's a newbie. You know,
I don't know. I don't think demon training is on the reg with priests.
Well, it should be, considering there's 10 movies about it. So, you know.
No, so do you come up, the first level is priest, or is there something before that you like train for? Because
altar boy?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I know that.
I have no idea either. But altar boy, I guess, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I was trying to think if you just became a priest. I guess you go into priesthood after like
you go. I think you go to like, you know, priesthood. I think you go to school. I guess, you know, there's school for it, and then you probably have to like assist. I don't know if there's like a, you know, like I don't think you could right away. Maybe you got to put your hours in.
All right, if there's any priests listening,
sounds right.
Maybe only tell us.
You got to do 3, you know, demon possessions, and then, you know, 4 Hail Marys, and you call back.
Yeah, and then this is the next part. I wrote, the priest has a man walk in when Diane was there, and he like blew her off. It says, "Camping anyone?" And then he like fixes his coat.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, "Is the priest gay?" Because from that, like, how would we know that that other guy was a priest until later in the movie, because he's not dressed like it until we see him like.
Correct. That's what they didn't explain that at all. I said the same thing. I thought maybe there were like a couple, which honestly they still could be.
Oh no, I think they are,
because he is a priest. The other one's a priest doesn't mean he can't be. They can't be a couple. I mean that shack they were staying in was pretty small.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. Were they in? Oh, they were in twin beds, right? Two twin beds, like next to each other.
I don't know.
We'll get to that part. That part, like. So then the next part is Sonny's birthday. So we talked about it before. Like, obviously, we don't know how long this movie takes place, but how old Sonny? Like, do they have anything on the cake or anything? No, right? It just says happy birthday.
I think so.
So was he in school or is he leaving the house like possessed?
Yeah, I don't know.
They should have gave us something, or I don't know. Just like, even if they do the corny like trope of like calendar flipping or some, I don't know.
Or like 3 weeks later, printed across the screen. Yeah.
But that whole scene was really creepy.
It was weird, and when he grabbed the sister.
Oh, and the mom sees it in her face.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the mom knows,
and she ignored it right away.
The mom knows.
Like, wouldn't she have pulled them aside right there and then? Let me talk to you guys. Like, she waited. She went back to the party. I just like nothing.
What was weird to me is in real life, the mom would see something weird is going on. They're arguing or whatever. Hey, what's going on?
Right.
She knows they fucked.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she knows.
Oh.
She smells it or something. I don't know.
I think it's poor writing. It's just trying to get to the point of causing more turmoil.
Well, the movie was an hour and 45 minutes, so they were definitely squeezing things in.
To be honest, way longer than I expected it to be.
Way longer than it should have been. So
I put it on thinking like 90 minutes max, and then
no, I agree. To me, like it started dragging it towards the end of the movie. And I was like, this is way too long for this movie.
Yeah. No, there was no. You're right. I really. But the thing, we'll get into it like in a little bit. But when it happened, we'll talk about it. But it's like I thought, oh, this movie's gonna be over soon. But it was like obviously not. No, I know you're talking about like, the dragging of it, but I actually like the second part.
No, it's a good part, but the problem is it was so long in the beginning part that I feel like the second part dragged. Like it was a completely different movie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how bad is?
I wasn't like annoyed with it. But it was, it feels like the movie is now ending.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, there's 25 minutes left.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Let me change my plans for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, how about the fact that it's his birthday and they didn't notice that first of all, he walked away like sulking by himself, and they didn't realize he was missing the rest of the party.
Oh, I know.
And birthday party.
So again, it looked like it was night. Like it almost looked really dark in that room. Like when he came downstairs to his birthday, how about his headphones saying, "You should kill them all. They'll be better off." Yeah. And then when he hugs his dad, like it's like the big thing. And again, I know there's families that are like this.
Was that a hug? That was like an arm around his neck. Like,
but they all clapped like, yeah, affection. Yeah. It was just like, oh, and then when they give this demonic possessed guy a birthday candle that doesn't blow out. Maybe that set him over the edge, because when he was blowing it and then he like blew it again, I'm like, I really thought shit was gonna go right there. But dude, when he was creepy towards it's bizarre. But then it was daytime when everyone else showed up. Yeah. Who are those people? Nothing. No, like,
well, I thought he was gonna start hitting on the first girl that gave him the gift. I thought he was gonna start hitting on her then.
Oh, I know. And make her jealous. Yeah, right. That would have been good. But the mom noticed, right? No, but again, we don't know who those people are. But then we go to this barbecue that's outside.
Yep.
Diane's talking to some people at a table, and then she like feels someone.
No, he's looking. He's looking out the window.
But you can barely see. You can't see him.
You can see. Because I was looking hard. You could see like sort of like in the background. You could see an image there.
Yeah,
so
even if it's like barely. But the fact that when she goes into the house, and she says, "I felt like you were calling me."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, you were wrong," and then he was like, kind of like, "I'm over you."
Yeah.
And then when the mom catches her on the stairs, holy shit. Oh,
Yeah.
How do you have that talk? I don't know.
Well, and then she wails on her. That was a hard slap. Like she really hit hard.
Slapping the wrong person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that is true.
And then a scene when I guess the camera was spinning around in his room. Was it his room or it was like going in circles for like good 30 seconds? I actually got dizzy. Like, do you remember the part? Did the camera just go in a circle?
When his face, that's when his face starts changing?
That's his full-on possession.
Maybe. Oh, that's what I guess that's what it's symbolizing. But it went on longer than it should have, and I was like, "Oof, I got to turn away."
He legit looked like Lord Palpatine. Like his half of his face, I'm like, that's from Star Wars.
Well, I think part of this movie, he actually looks like the Fly. Jeff Goldblum.
I wrote that. He looks like Jeff Goldblum, the Fly.
And he actually acts like the Fly at the end when he jumps off the ceiling or something like that. Yes. So yeah, I had the Fly.
Yes. So then Diane, right after this, she's like, I have to talk to somebody. Like she calls the priest, and his priest friend, air quotes, he picks up the phone because somehow the priest felt it, that it was her calling. And he's like, I feel like I have to answer that. She might need my help. And he picks it up, turns it sideways. So it's just.
That's his boyfriend. That's his boyfriend. I mean, I forgot about that. That's a classic move.
He's like, we're going on a camping trip. No phone call.
That's a classic move.
Boys only. No possessed girls. Oh, well, not possessed. No, but that's just, again, he felt that was that. And then soon.
I thought that was pretty cool because obviously he had a connection. I mean, when demons are dealing with people of faith, they're very afraid of them. So, the fact that he had the blood and everything else. So that was pretty cool that he had that connection, that he knew something was going on.
Yeah.
And here's one of the most intense scenes like that I was not ready for in my movie watching life. Like obviously I thought now that I know he's possessed, something's going to happen, but just the way it went, it was friggin' intense. Cause we start off with just, all we see is Diane. She's listening to her parents argue about like having sex. Like, why won't you have sex with me? Come on, honey. And he's like yelling. And then we just see Sonny, right? We see the outline of the gun. That's right?
No, she runs and hides behind the dresser. He goes, I guess their bedroom has two doors because he went through the back way. He went through like down the hall.
No, but the way it starts, she doesn't. She sees him with the.
Oh gun. No! Yeah, you see it right. She sees the outline of him,
and then she starts banging on the door.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, and then that's when they open the door. Right? Who gets shot first? The dad gets shot first.
The father. See, okay, I thought it was only going. I thought it was only going to him. Like I didn't think just anger coming to the father. Like I didn't think he was going to go on a rampage right yet. Oh. And that was pretty intense. Like yeah.
Dude, well, they all found.
That is cool.
Both of them.
And he looks like he's smiling.
He is. Only time ever in his whole life.
Well, they kind of made it seem like I thought Diane was going to make it out because they made it like a Friday the 13th. Like like the killer's on a loose and she's the only girl left and she's running around trying to get it escape. Like I didn't think it's going to end the way. Like I thought there was going to be some survivors. No. I was wrong.
Well, this is the portion of the movie that's based on the true events.
Okay.
So in real life, the family lived in the house. The oldest son shot the whole family, and he was arrested. He's still in prison. But what?
Oh, he's still in prison now?
Yeah, he's still in prison.
Wow.
So in Sonny in the movie is Ronnie in real life, and Ronnie DeFeo. He murdered his whole family with the shotgun. All of them were in bed, like face down. That was one of the things that sort of pushed this in the direction of people believing there was like a supernatural angle. Was that one thing he claimed he was possessed and that's why he did it.
Wow.
2, every single family member was in bed, shot in bed, killed in bed, meaning he shot all 6 of his family members and not one of them got up after the first gunshot.
Oh my God.
So there was later he claims that he poisoned them or drugged them so they wouldn't get up, but I don't know if they ever figured out what he drugged them with or what, but that's what this is. This is the true story that this is based on.
But he does claim that he was possessed.
That's one side of it. And then the story that the first movie is based on, the Lutz family that moved into the house, they claim that the house was haunted and that the stepfather was getting taken over by the same thing
that took over Ronnie
DeFeo was taken over by. So that's where this whole thing starts from. But after the first movie, because what happened was George Lutz, who was the stepfather in the house, he wrote the book about their experiences. They made the movie.
Wait. The father from the house,
the stepfather.
Stepfather. He wrote the actual book on it.
Yeah, he wrote the book saying this is what happened to my family. They made the movie, and then after that, they made all these sequels. But he had their names like taken off of it because he wanted no part of. He wanted another movie made. There was another book written by someone else that I think it was about the murders and about the history of the house and stuff.
Damn.
And that's what he wanted the second movie to be based on.
So he claims that he was possessed also? Because you said the stepfather was.
Yeah. So he claims that the house was like doing stuff to them.
Oh, wow.
But there's a whole other side to that. Like the stepson there's like a documentary about the stepson.
I was gonna say there must be documentaries out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the stepson, of course, claims that like the house was not haunted and that it's the stepfather was just a bastard who like abused them and stuff. Wow. So there's crazy stories and stuff. But that's kind of where this ends now. Now we're moving into like Exorcist territory.
Yep.
Totally made up stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just the way he picked off the kids.
Yeah.
When we see the little girl and the little boy like go to the sound, they open the door, they see their dying mother like reaching out, and they get split up. The boy, I think, sneaks out, but when we see like the lightning flash, and I don't know if it's when the boy or the girl gets killed, and you just see him appear behind her, and you hear the shot. Oh no, that was for the boy. That one, the girl, when she got shot in the room, he was touching her lifeless foot.
Yeah. No, it was rough. You don't see that too often in movies of like children getting it, that was tough. And this movie has a lot of movements. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Then again, you're in this friggin' house. Again, how long are they in this house? They couldn't take the nails out of the window? That's what makes no sense.
Well, no,
Unless they showed a scene of the windows going nuts again, and she's like, I'm going to put a stop to that, the mom or something. But we didn't see that.
Well, think about that. So the windows were going nuts earlier. So weren't the nails already out?
That's true.
Unless it's like deleted scenes of him running around the house, like nailing windows back in,
nailing it back down.
That's because they obviously were out. So you can't say, so yeah.
Hey, Sonny, what's that racket? I'm hanging pictures. I imagine him sounding like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, we know what he sounds like, so it wasn't that.
How does he sound?
I'm hanging pictures. But no, the end shot is like really intense. Like did I put that up there? Oh, no. I saw it on there, but man, the shot of her looking and you see the shadow of her brother. And again, I'm not saying she didn't really try too hard to get away. She could have maybe went downstairs, tried another window, but she couldn't break through that window with a chair. So
I didn't think it was going in a direct. I thought because he had the gun on her and he was slowly going down her body.
Oh,
like I thought I didn't think he was going to kill her. Like I didn't know. I thought she was going to survive somehow. Because again, you need a survivor. Like I didn't know where this movie was going after this. Because there was a lot of time left. So I'm like, all right, yeah, that was rough.
And then he shoots her, obviously. And then this is what blows my mind. Okay, so the next scene was the priest waking up, sweating. Okay, and then in my head I go, was this all a dream? I really thought for 1 second, right? Didn't you think for 1 second? I was like, maybe he could see it happening and then he's going to get there, try to warn them, and then it's going to happen anyway. But
that would have been interesting.
But in my head, I go, okay. And then when he gets there, and then again, I'm a priest. I'm their priest. Oh, okay. Let him through. I'm like, shut up. That would be a great show, like a priest detective, But
priest detective.
Priest detective. I'm a father. Oh, the father of the victim? No, I'm the father.
Yeah.
But no, when he shows up and then he's blessing their body, dude, that was intense too. Like when they showed the little girl dead, she was in the body bag, the actress.
Now again, yeah. Then again, so they not only they let him in, they let him unzip the body bags
to bless the. I know.
Yeah,
that was a little much. But then at this point, this is where I looked at the time. I paused it. I think it was like an hour and 5 minutes or so. It was like there was still 40 minutes left, and in my head, I'm like, where's this movie gonna go? That's where it went. But
that's what I said. But I think it got to a point where like I kept looking at the timer. I'm like, all right, I got 20 minutes left. I got 15 minutes left. Like it went on too long. It was just way too long.
Sure. I guess because it kind of ruined it because we didn't think at all that this would be maybe the way it went. So maybe that's why we kept on checking, like, when's the next thing gonna happen? But this scene, dude. So Sonny's crying. I don't remember. And then I'm thinking, what else can happen the rest of the movie? Because he's going to obviously go to jail.
Well, but did you notice he wasn't even in handcuffs at that point?
I know.
He was standing, but they had this guy who's, suspected of murdering this entire family. And he's standing outside this car, his hand there, just not handcuffed. And they put him in quietly in the backseat.
Because he's a white kid.
Actually, I thought that. I did have that thought while watching this. I'm like, oh, if he was like anything but white, he would have been shot in the front lawn.
Well, even at the anywhere in the movie, like when he was meeting with he was never in cuffs. Even at the trial, or whatever. Wait, with the trial? No, where was he? At the courthouse. He was at the courthouse.
He didn't have cuffs then.
When he passed out, he didn't have nothing on him.
Yeah,
this is a murderer. This is a guy that just killed his entire family. You're not going to protect yourselves? Yeah.
And then the father goes to the police station, and the detective or chief, he's basically like, do you want to? Oh, he's like, I want to talk to him. I'm his priest. Again, he keeps like just like, hey, I'm the priest. Let me talk to him. So he goes in there and he's like talking to him like, who did this? Who's inside of you? Because he like knew he was possessed. And then he does like an air cross, and before he finishes, he like it's almost like he punched him because he just like collapses like on the ground, and then they make him leave. Like I'm like, what the fuck's happening right now?
Listen, you got to give the priest credit because he's been through a lot with this movie, and he's still trying.
He's like, determined, dude.
He's determined. I mean, listen, he's so determined that he commits a crime at the jailhouse. He's still, I mean, literally, like, so now so basically he commits a crime to help this kid.
Oh, we'll get to that because I was thinking in my head, I'm like, something's going to happen. Like, I don't know. We'll get to that part. So when he's trying to stir something up and he's flipping through all the photos, did you notice that all the family photos are like legit, like nice, like, like 3x5s, and they're like nice stage photos. The one of Paulie looked like a Polaroid they took that day on set or something. It was like a side angle of him. You saw his belly. He looked like shit, and he's just flipping through. And I thought that was so funny. I'm like, all the other family photos are like normal photos, and you have Paulie like this, like bloated, like.
So you see belly and look like shit. It's like a normal day at work for him. Yeah. That's okay.
That's 194 credits to you, buddy. So then he has to tell again. Then we get to another part because this is where I think it makes it a little long because we do like a sort of like a cutaway to something else, and then it goes right back to him in another spot. So this is where he visits him in his cell, and this is where Sonny is attacking him. Right? Sonny attacks him that's in the cell.
Correct.
And he didn't panic one bit, and he knew he was like. And then he tells the guy he's possessed.
Yeah.
And that gets him in hot water with the higher priest because he admits that. But even at this point, Chris.
Is that the scene where he like it's like the demon talking? Or am I thinking of like something?
No, he's having a conversation with a demon.
Yeah. It's like the demon talking through Sonny. Yeah, okay.
He says, show yourself, unseen spirit. And he puts the cross on his hand and puts it near his face. And he's like, it sticks his tongue and it like burns him. And
I kind of like that scene.
I did like that scene. I like the whole second half of this movie. I'm on board. I know it felt long because I think, because in my mind, I'm like, this movie went a different way that I wasn't ready for, but I was totally for it. But no,
I didn't really think it felt long. It was just that the first half or whatever, first 2/3 it was paced well. It was paced well. Like you're not bored watching it, but when the story turns, it feels like the end of a movie.
Correct.
No, I know.
So it's like, even though it was really only like an hour or whatever, it felt like you were watching like an 80, 90 minute
No, I agree.
movie.
I agree.
So
you notice the tone changed, the pacing changed. So, and I think that, because the whole movie, it's moving pretty fast. Like it's one thing I have to know that.
You just have to like mentally readjust.
Right. Correct. Right.
It's not that it felt long.
Right.
It's just, you're like, oh, okay, wait.
The pacing changed drastically. And I think that's what it was.
And then from here, this is where Father Frank is begging the cop, like, hey, let me take him to church. He needs to have this is before he even get an okay to do like an exorcism. And he's like, and then he's like, no, you can't do it. And again, why would the cop believe him? And like, why, this is a plea thing that, again, that his lawyer uses. So maybe that kind of like hurts it. Maybe if he didn't do that, he would let him like sneak him out for a little bit. But just that whole part. And then the spirit, he's done it the whole movie, but the demon is like a jokester because he's like smirking. He's making these faces like the whole time. And then the priest, and then this is where I thought something else would happen, that I think it was kind of empty, and I know it would have made the movie longer. But when he goes to the house, right after that, the priest, and this is like exposition like thrown in your face. But when he's looking at the house and he sees Diane Franklin at the door, and he's like kind of like, and some old woman just happens to be there. And
I wrote the same thing. Why was she there? Like, what was she doing? Well, you missed you didn't talk about the part when she was she turned the demon turned into Diane Franklin.
That didn't happen yet.
It didn't?
No, it's at the end.
It happened at the jail. I thought it happened in the jail.
No, that was at the end of the movie. Shit, it doesn't happen twice.
All right, forget it then. All right, so yes, the old lady there. What was she doing there? She was just walking by.
I've been thinking about that old lady for 2 weeks because she talks about how like weird stuff has always happened in that house, which makes no sense in the scheme of both what really happened and the scheme of the movies. Because if there were stories about all this weird stuff happening, I don't know if this family would have moved in. It just seemed like it's like in the scheme of things, this family dying, getting murdered by the son is supposed to be the thing that really sets everything off.
Yeah.
But she's talking about like, oh, weird things have always happened.
Yeah, but like having the hand in the base, the secret spot and everything, there obviously, I mean, there must be something else. Again, there's no backstory of how the house became possessed. So without
that's the whole next scene.
Of how the house.
Yeah, that's like the Hall of Records. The whole next scene was she goes, oh, let me show you. I got a job at the Hall of Records, and talks about like it was somebody that was at the Salem witch trials.
Okay, you're right.
We got kicked out and like went to, but I'm like, come on, you want to show?
You're telling me, wait, so you're gonna tell me this woman who just randomly goes there happens to go to Hall of Records, know exactly what to look up and find everything.
She works there,
right? But she happens to be. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
She goes, I got this job because I was bored. And I just, I really looked up everything on this house. But then she's like, Father, do you need a ride? And then from there, it just goes in that whole next scene.
I thought I thought something funky was up with her. Like, it just seemed too good to be true. Like, this sweet old lady's like standing, just happened to be there. I thought she was like possessed. Like the demon was like trying to like entice him somewhere or something. Like, I don't know. I thought something was with her.
Nah, she was just Mrs. Exposition.
Just at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And then also the thing about the Salem witch trials, the house was built in the 20s.
No, I know. That's what I don't get.
I guess maybe there was like a 17th century cottage there or something.
Or a lamp that was brought in at a garage sale
and a clock.
Yeah. No, I just hated that part. But no, we do get Diane Franklin here. Okay. The phone call.
Yeah.
This is where you get the phone call, and he's like,
that was pretty cool though. I did like that. I thought it was pretty good
because it was like exactly what she was gonna like what she started to say when the phone went, he couldn't hear that anyway. But it was like the same thing, and he's like, "What do you want?"
Yeah,
and then he like hangs up. Oh, dude, that was pretty cool.
That was good.
So the lawyer I mentioned before. So the lawyer uses demonic possession as like to get the case thrown out and everything. So I was thinking in my head, if this really was, if anybody's listening, they believe this, well, maybe it is true. Things like this can happen. But what if it was somehow provable that, wow, he was possessed? who goes to prison? Like, does he go? He has to go somewhere. He would still have to go to like a mental institution. It's
Well, he
not
would go.
like-
Yeah, insanity. I mean, it would be something. It would be on that level.
They would never use possession as the plea. They would use insanity or you know.
But I clearly like nothing. Like they don't know because even like and we missed it when he was. I guess when he was again. Maybe it didn't happen yet because I'm all over the place now.
Yeah.
But when did he write "Save Me" on his arm? Did it happen?
That's in a couple more. It's like the next scene.
Okay, that didn't happen yet either. All right, you know what? You start. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's all these tropes that are pulling directly from The Exorcist for the rest of the movie.
No, I know. That's what I've seen. Like when people like wrote reviews on like IMDb, it like says exactly that. But so the next scene is he meets with the father, the priest that's ahead of him, and he goes, I talked to them, and the bishop is upset with you, and you should take a leave of absence because the demonic possession's making us look bad. So again, this part of the story has to be way down the road because to get to trial and all of this has to take time. But dude, when he gets to visit him at the hospital and he goes, Sonny's getting electric shock therapy. And he's like, wow, they're trying to kill him. And then this is where you see the arm. He's trying to plead to the cop like, hey, and you see the save me. And the cop sees it.
And the first thing he says is, let me get the doctor. What's the doctor going to do?
I know. I wrote that same thing. But it did convince the priest to, and the cop to let the priest get Sonny to the church. But when you brought this up before.
Yeah.
When he says, here, hit me right here with the butt of the gun. And I'm like, so that happens. Okay. Everything happens like we're going to talk about in a second. He goes to jail or something. He has to get something. It's not like the cop can be like, hey, everything worked out fine. I told him hit me there with the gun.
That's what I mean. He just broke the law. They said the crazy priest or crazy father took the criminal, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so he's going to be going to jail because he stole whatever. I mean, he's involved in this, cover up or whatever, So, yeah, that didn't make sense. I don't think a priest would have done that.
No. Well, not the badass priest, Father Frank.
That is true.
But why does he take the handcuffs off? So when they get to the church, he has no handcuffs on. He shoves the Father Frank and then makes a wall of flames. And I'm like, why would he? Well, again, maybe because he's a white kid. And
did he have handcuffs? He had handcuffs in the hospital?
I don't know, but he should have been smart to the Father Frank knows that he's possessed. So he should ask for handcuffs.
Well, yeah, but clearly he wasn't wearing them the entire movie. So he's probably like, all right, maybe the town doesn't own any. Maybe they need a big, their budget's small town, and they don't have any handcuffs.
I don't know. I just think that whole part. But then he has the firewall, and the Father Frank's like, dude, he went back to the house, and I wanted more in this final like kind of battle between the two because I thought they had a pretty good back and forth. Like the whole movie, their dynamic was really good. I was hoping for a little bit more. Like, yeah, you said like before, he looked like the Fly. He's like on the wall, like jumping down, and I don't know.
Yeah, no. For as crazy as this movie is from the beginning, it's a very like lackluster.
It almost feels forced.
Priest and demon.
Yeah, it feels like it's quick and forced, and
ends.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, the priest knows what's going on in that house. He brings the smallest cross ever. Like I would have brought the biggest thing I could possibly find. Like as much, I would need as much power, and he brought like the smallest cross in there. When he's walking around.
When it comes to crosses, the bigger the cross, the more power.
I don't know, but I would want as much power as possible.
I think it's the bigger the faith. It's the faith in the tool.
It is, but yeah, I guess.
Or maybe that's just his lucky cross.
We also see the blob and zombies in the basement.
Yeah.
In the scene.
And the fact that he chose to go in the creepiest entrance into the house, just through those doors, I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Oh, he had a sneak attack as a demon.
Yeah, the demon that probably knew he was in the house because we saw those creatures just like going towards him. And how is it raining in the house? It's not like the roof got knocked off.
So that boggles your mind, but the blob and the zombies don't. But the rain now it's over the top.
That's where I draw the line. Inside precipitation. But God, that just whole part, I don't know. I just wanted more. I don't know what could have happened because you have a priest fighting a demon. I don't know what else you could have done, but I don't know. I just wish it could have been more. I did like Diane Franklin when he's like, show yourself. And he's just like, show. And then she turns, she looks almost, her makeup's like a hooker almost, you know?
Yeah.
And she goes, you wanted it. And with her tongue. And I'm like, he was gay. I don't think he wanted you. Like, why did she think that?
You're assuming.
Yeah, I you know what? I mean, I made me second guess my thought on him, but before she turned around though, because all you hear is like a girl's voice.
Yeah,
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This demon's a girl. Like it's all like that. That would be like a scary movie thing. Like you see this demon doing all this, stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like a little girl's voice.
Yeah. And then how does he end? He just uses the cross, right? Nothing special. It's still the cross.
Well, he kept saying the prayer, but then he said, "Give it to me instead of him," or something like that, or "Come to me instead of." So like he was telling the demon, "Come to me." But like before he said that, though, it seemed like whatever he was doing was working because the kid's head was like falling apart.
Oh my God, dude!
Right, which was pretty gross. Which was
so
very
cool.
Which was very fly-like. He was, so like. I feel like he kind of jumped the gun. Like I think if he waited a little longer, he might not have had to have the demon coming to him. I think he had it won, but I think he got a little nervous.
The demon has to go somewhere, but I guess not. It sat in the house until
So I mean, like
Sonny.
Like if he didn't say "come to me," would that was demon in demon form that we saw in the kid's face? Like what was that? Like would the kid be alive or would the demon be running around now like that?
Yeah, I don't know. That is kind of confusing. But again, this father is such a badass that he took that on in order to do that. So Sonny's saved. He looks like normal. We see the priest. He looks like ravaged, old, bloody.
Well, you know what? The reason why the priest took it on probably is because one, the cops are gonna be looking for him now, and two, his priesthood people are mad at him. So he really has nowhere to go. So, he might as well become a demon.
That is true.
Do you think he's dead at the end? Because I feel like he was like dying at the end.
He looked like he was.
Yeah, well, he has a demon come
die.
Oh, so you don't think the demon, he's not possessed?
No, I think he brought the demon into him and it's like too much. And he's like, I feel like they left it open. Well, I feel like he might be like dying.
So he had nothing to do with the third movie.
Oh no.
Okay. All right, then he's dead.
I wish they did do the ending like he was like dead and then the eyes, like the zoom in on the eyes. I was thinking of that, but it was just like him. But then the other priest comes in again. This is like, what would really happen if this really happened?
Right.
So when the other priest comes in, he goes to Sonny. He's like, "Don't worry, they'll understand." Why would they understand?
Won't. No, they won't understand. And the other priest is in bad shape. He just leaves him there. Even though he said, "Leave me here," you're still going to just leave him there? Like
I know that. Why would you do that? But I guess maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I did like the end shot. Like we talked about the camera, obviously the camera POV, like the cameraman, but I did like a lot of shots in this movie and the ending shot was pretty cool. The way it the quick fly through the house. And then we see the priest just sitting there and that's it. That was Amityville II. The Possession. We'll go to our guests. So, Chris, would you recommend somebody to watch this movie?
Well, before we started recording, I really thought I was going to say no, unless you wanted to sit down and like binge the franchise, then I would say yes. But now that we got like into talking about it, I had a lot of fun talking about it. It's nuts. I think yes, if you're going to watch the franchise, definitely don't skip it. I think if you're looking for a really good possession movie, you're probably going to be left a little underwhelmed. Aside from the batshit crazy stuff that happens in this movie, I don't know. Yeah, I'll recommend it. Fuck it.
All right,
it's nuts.
Jamie,
it's insane. This is only my second time watching it. The first time was probably a decade ago or more. So I really only remembered a few things here and there, but yeah, watch it. Have a few beers and watch it.
Yeah,
if you drink.
Well, I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to say, don't watch it.
Are you serious? You seem like you had a good time talking about it.
No. I needed to talk about it because it was just so much absorbed. This movie is very disturbing. And the reason why I say you don't need to watch it is because, again, I'm not a horror expert. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I haven't seen a lot of possession movies, but I'm sure there's a lot better ones out there than this one. I'm going to bet that the first Amityville is probably better than this one, without seeing it. So like, this is a movie you probably don't have to see. There's too many disturbing things in this movie that I would never want to watch again. There's too many, like, I don't know. I just think there's better movies out there to watch. And if you want to see an Amityville, I would probably say go to the original just because, it's such a classic, I guess. And then other, possession movies, this one could be skipped. That's my thing.
Don't skip sequels, whoever's listening. But no, I know. I would have to say, well, I wouldn't watch it again, but that first viewing of it. But if I did watch it again, like for just like, loving film, like the practical effects at the end are awesome. And the camera shots are so cool. Like that whole scene when Sonny kills everybody in the house, like those are some of the coolest shots that I've seen in movies, like with whole lightning and seeing him appear behind the kid and like the rifle on the little kid's foot. Dude, that's some like, again, it's disturbing. I would just watch it once, but yeah, I would totally.
Well, I would say, a movie like this is not going to be for horror fans looking for a possession movie. I would say if you're like a film student, this is a great movie to watch. You're right. This between the camera work and the sound and the music, great how they put that in the movie, and that's great to watch. But if you're a horror fan and you've never seen this movie, I think you're going to be disappointed. I think there's better movies out there, and I think it's more for like, again, for studying a great technique of how to film movies, just not a good movie itself.
So you're saying thank you to Diamani.
Absolutely. And remember, I never made fun of your name.
And actually, I do want to bring up too that this movie the screenplay was written by Tommy Lee Wallace, who's like a huge, like, he's done a million things. He's a big John Carpenter collaborator. He worked on like The Fog and some of the Halloween movies. Yeah. He's directed a bunch of stuff. So like the glimmer of good things in this movie are 100% attributed to him. So it has some good things, but yeah.
Chris, thank you. 4-timer. I think because we saw on Instagram, we're going to be doing Hellraiser. We have 2 Hellraiser movies coming up. Yeah, dude.
Another one, I have never seen any of them. So this is virgin territory.
So I will say this, Jamie, I would say watch the first one because it's the best. Just so you get a feel for that world, and then watch whichever sequel you get. Well,
we have someone for the second one. And then we have one.
Great.
And then we have one for Inferno. Or is it the 5th one?
I think so.
Here's another series that I didn't realize how many were out there, and there's so many. Yeah.
Personally, I enjoy 1 and 2 are the best. The first 4 are enjoyable, and the rest are pretty much garbage.
Well, I have reached out to Mr. Pinhead, so I'm hoping I get him. I'll try again a little bit. I got his email too, so that'd be awesome.
Him.
Oh, you met him
a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago. He is the nicest guy. And I think I know he's originally from the UK, but I think he spends a lot of his time in Pennsylvania. I think he's dual citizen. So it might be easy to get him because he's on the same.
I'm going to try.
Time zone.
So keep your fingers crossed. That'd be awesome if we can. So Doug, if we do, you got a lot of work to do for his.
I plan on dressing like Pinhead.
I was going to say.
Oh, and his name's Doug. So you'll have that.
It is Doug Bradley, right?
Yep.
Sweet. Well, yeah. So that was Amityville 2, The Possession. Thank you again, Chris, our 4-timer. Next sequel is perfect for our Halloween sequel, and it's our first time we are venturing into the Michael Myers territory of Haddonfield, and that's with Halloween 5, which should be a lot of fun. We have a guest lined up. But the interview for it is, man, so epic, dude. He's so cool. I became friends with him on Facebook and just like following him. Troy Evans, he plays Deputy Charlie in Halloween 5. He doesn't like horror movies. He's like, why would people watch this? But you know him. He had a small role in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. His story about how he started acting and like growing up in Montana, ending up in prison. Dude, I can do only so much research for these interviews, but when he started talking about this stuff, I was like, holy shit. So it's amazing. You know him from Ace Ventura, Roger Podacter, and right now he's on Bosch on Amazon Prime. Great dude. You're going to love that interview. Don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.